Pittsburgh Pirates have beaten the Mets 5 consecutive times, including a sweep at Three Rivers Stadium the last time the Mets played there. Hoping to stop the bleeding, Rick Reed. He has been as consistent a pitcher in either league this year, 10-6, and his no decisions. In most of his no decisions, he has pitched very, very well. They're good no decisions, bad no decisions. Rick Reed's no decisions have been good ones.
And the Pirates lineup he'll face is brought to you by Jeep and Eagle. Tony Womack, the speedster, leads it off at second base. Keith Osick doing the catching tonight. Turner Ward in center field. Kevin Young batting cleanup. Jose Guillen will be in right field hitting fifth. Al Martin left field will bat sixth. Aramis Ramirez, the young third baseman, hitting seventh. Lou Collier, the shortstop, eighth, and the pitcher Jason Schmidt, ninth.
The defense for the Mets this evening, Todd Hundley in left field. Still trying to get used to that. Brian McRae in center. Butch Husky, the right fielder. Edgardo Alfonso at third. Ray Ordonez, Carlos Baerga, John Olerud round out the infield with Todd Pratt behind the plate. Mike Piazza has a sore right elbow. Suffered on that tag last night at home. The umpires for tonight's game, Bob Davidson behind the plate. Tom Hallion at first. Jerry Crawford, the crew chief, at second base, and C.B. Buckner down at third. Tony Womack, the batter, and he fouls it back, 0-1 to Womack, and it's not unusual to see Rick Reed get ahead. Womack with a 14-game hitting streak also leads the National League in stolen bases with 37. 1-1 to Womack. Jason Schmidt will be Rick Reed's opposition, and Womack has hit in 15 in a row. So Womack opens the game with a line single to right field on the curveball, and obviously he is a threat to run.
Tony Womack, what a streak he is on right now. He's batting .470 during this now 15-game hit streak. I mean, that is an incredible number. And Womack, those are the kind of hits he will pick up. A lot of those. There you see at-bats among the National League leaders. Singles fourth, stolen bases, and first and infield hits with that great speed.
And the crowd wanted that pickoff throw to first base. Rick Reed with an excellent move. Almost got a left-hander's move as a right-hander. He's that quick. Keith Osick, the catcher, is the batter, and Womack, keep an eye on him.
Here's what Tony Womack, like all great speedsters, do to a pitcher. All of a sudden, he becomes the center of attraction in this game. Boy, he steps off a big lead, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm. And there he goes. And now he stops. So a fake break by Womack at first base as Keith Osick takes strike one. That's what'll often happen. Right-handed hitter sees him go. He takes the pitch. It's a strike, and he's fooled only the hitter.
He's got a good lead and a great break. Obviously, he had no intention of going. He only took 2 or 3 steps and came back. So he wasn't going to go. He just wanted to fake it. But as Timmy said, may have done more damage to his hitter than to Rick Reed.
That, by the way, is the longest hitting streak for a Pittsburgh Pirate since Jay Bell hit in 15 in a row back in 1996, June of '96. 0-1 to Osick. Grounded foul, so Osick in the hole, 0-2.
This Pirate team is #1 in the National League in stolen bases. It is one of their great weapons. And Gene Lamont, their manager, saying we've got to rev that up even more here for the rest of this season. He wants even more running out of this ball club, because that's probably what they do best. Of all the tools they have available to them, the running game is probably #1.
They have some pretty good young arms, but I agree, if they get on first base, they are a dangerous team. Remember Gene Mock's comment about Larry Lentz, a middle infielder in the early 70s. Used to say, from first to home, he's the best player in the National League. He just doesn't get on first enough.
You do have to start there.
Yep. That first 90 feet is often the toughest, but Womack having a terrific year. Not running, line drive, base hit, left field. So Osick follows with a base hit.
Batting third, number 12, center fielder.
Rarely see Rick Reed throw an 0-2 pitch that's as hittable as that one to Osick.
That was really up. He rarely misses. He's a great location pitcher, of course. This is not where he wanted this pitch to be to Osick. That was right there, right in the wheelhouse, middle of the plate, and up a little bit over the belt. And Osick just drove it into left field.
That was interesting to see Todd Pratt. Most catchers will center their mitt behind the center of the body. And watch how Pratt has to reach to his right. And Osick reaches that fastball for a base hit. Turner Ward, the center fielder, squared to bunt and takes a breaking ball. Ball one. Jack Lynn, the third base coach,
obviously wanting to stay out of the double play here, but Turner Ward has been one of their hot hitters. He's hit into only 2 double plays all year long.
I think that was to get the infield to move around. You see the infielders bunched by Baerga and Ordonez at second. I don't think he's bunting. And he's not, and the breaking ball is high. Ball 2, 2-0.
Gene Lamont is not that kind of a conservative manager, especially with a ball club that's below 500 here. They want to win some ball games, especially early on. If they can generate a big inning with an offense that has struggled all year, they're not going to play for just 1 run.
Get Ward on a pop-up or ground out, you still got speed on at second base. And that was another one that was close as Womack dives back safely.
He does challenge pitchers at every base. He gets big leads that force pitchers to step off or to make those kind of throws.
First and second, nobody out. 2-0 to Turner Ward. And he did bunt. Reed will go to first base. Baerga late in covering, and he just gets it. So Baerga coming over late. But he did sacrifice on a 2-0 count.
I don't understand. It's a great bunt, but it's your number 3 hitter who's had 11 hits in his last 30 at-bats. Baerga makes a nice play here. He knew right where he was, and he knew he could not come across the bag or he was going to collide with Ward. So he's got to just reach in with that foot, touch the bag, and get out of the way, and that's what he does.
Interestingly, Reed threw to the bag knowing Baerga would be there, and Carlos was. Here's Kevin Young, the first baseman. Strike 1 to Young. Not only that, it's a 2-0 count, and Ward is bunting. You can understand to give him 1 free swing, foul it back, then 2-1, maybe bunt him over. No balls, 2 strikes now to Kevin Young. Strike 3 call. Pratt set up outside, and Reed painted. 2 outs.
Perfect pitch. Rick Reed following through a little more here against Young than he did in the first 2 hitters to get it down. See that big follow through? That's right where he wants it. That's a great pitch. He set him up with the inside fastball before that, where Young took that golf swing and never had a chance. That forced him a little back on his heels, and then outside corner.
So Rick Reed can see his way out of this after 2 straight singles and the sacrifice. The strikeout of Young, and here's Jose Guillen, the right fielder, and the breaking ball's in there. Strike 1. Womack at third. Osick at second. Just underway here at Shea. Deceptive average, 190 the last month of the season. Tap, Reed. Out of the inning. Well, the Mets loaded the bases against Pittsburgh last night in the first with nobody out. They didn't score. Pittsburgh, similar problems this evening. Back after this from Acura. Pirates threatening in the first inning. They did not score for Jason Schmidt, and believe me, he needs it. He has lost his last 5 decisions after becoming the first National League pitcher to win 8 games this year. He has not won since late May.
And the first inning, Timmy, is the one where he gets beat up badly.
That's right.
Let's see the Mets lineup. He will face, brought to you by your Tri-State Quality Ford dealer. Brian McRae leads it off in center field. Edgardo Alfonso, third baseman, batting second. John Olerud at first, third. Todd Hundley, cleanup left field. Butch Husky in right field will hit fifth. Carlos Baerga at second base, sixth. Todd Pratt in for Piazza tonight. Piazza's got the sore elbow. Ray Ordonez, the shortstop, eighth, and Rick Reed hitting ninth.
Brian McRae has had a terrific homestand. 4 home runs in his last 8 ball games, and he leads the Mets in RBIs on this homestand with 8. First pitch of ball, 1-0 to Brian. 1-1. The Mets hopeful that the consistency that they had in May will return in late July for the rest of the season. This club played their best ball in the month of May. Line hard, center field, Ward, 1 out.
And it continues to be the offense, of course, for the Mets that continues to give them problems.
Third baseman Edgardo
Not scoring a lot of runs. The defense for the Pittsburgh Pirates, Al Martin in left, Turner Ward in center, Jose Guillen in right field. Ramirez at third, Lou Collier the shortstop, Tony Womack, Kevin Young, Keith Osik behind the plate. Here's Edgardo Alfonso. Ball 1 to Alfonso.
We were talking about Jason Schmidt in the first innings, Timmy. Interesting that he has retired the first 3 hitters of a ball game only 4 times this year.
That's in 20 starts. Oof.
He gives up more first inning runs than anyone else on this staff. He surrendered a team high 14 first inning runs.
Two balls and a strike to Edgardo Alfonso. And this one's outside. 3 balls and a strike to Fonzie. No score, just underway. The Mets head to Milwaukee on a charter flight after the game this evening and play the Brewers 2 games tomorrow. High, and Alfonso is on with the base on balls. Bill Pulsifer and Hideo Nomo, the starters for tomorrow's doubleheader, have already departed and left for Milwaukee, so they can have some semblance of a good night's sleep.
The Mets have really got to get something out of these pitchers now. Armando Reynoso is going to be activated again and start one of the doubleheader games in Chicago. Pulsifer hasn't started a game since '95. It's a dangerous time for the Mets. I mean, it could be great and could be rejuvenating, but going into it, it's kind of scary.
I think that's well put. Dangerous being the proper word. Grounded hard to second, and it's going to be a double play. Olerud hits it hard, but the double play turned by Pittsburgh. No score after 1. Back after this from Nobody Beats the Wiz. Folks, August the 20th, the NFL comes to UPN 9 when the Giants and the Jets collide in preseason action live from the Meadowlands. Turn to UPN 9 for every play as these 2 teams battle for Big Apple bragging rights. And I guess that will be 2 games before the season starts on August 20th. The Giants and the Jets. Thursday, August 20th at 8 o'clock right here on UPN 9 as Al Martin, the left fielder, takes strike 1 from Rick Reed. Al, a disappointing year. And he takes a strike. 0-2 to Al Martin. There's the disappointing year that we talked about a year ago. More runs scored, more RBIs. Breaking ball, check swing. That is probably the biggest indicator of a guy having problems, is the in-between swings.
And he's had a lot of those this year, according to Gene Lamont. I mean, this is a .288 career hitter and a young career coming in here and batting 40 points or more below that much of this season.
Rick Reed is a strike-throwing machine.
.21 walks. He has the third best ratio of walks per 9 innings in the league, and he's been up there among the top 3 all year long. Very consistent.
Just inside. Not only that, Gary, and I think this is as important to point out, he rarely will allow a hitter to sit on one pitch on a 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, 3-1 count. And the breaking ball gets Martin. Rick Reed gets hitters in the hole, and he keeps them there. 1 out.
Number 16, third baseman Aramis.
The great numbers that he's had here at Shea Stadium with that 7-3 mark. And note that earned run average, 2 runs a game plus better at home than on the road.
Thus far, he's thrown 20 pitches, 16 for strikes. Aramis Ramirez, the fine young third baseman. He came to the big leagues as a 19-year-old in mid-May and has since turned 20. 0-1 to Ramirez. Breaking ball, speared by Olerud. 2 outs.
So consistently solid at first base in every aspect of the game. John Olerud, hard hit ball the other way and a breaking ball that he had to stay back on, and Olerud snags that one. Backhanded up and over.
Nice play by John Olerud. Robbing Aramis Ramirez of extra bases as Lou Collier, the shortstop, steps up. And the breaking ball is in there. 0-1 to Collier. Tapped foul, 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes to Lou Collier, the shortstop. No score here in the second inning. Tapped foul. Mets had 18,000, over 18,000 last night, and it appears to be around that tonight with the fans still heading in. Sticky night at Shea. Low, ball 1, 1-2.
That little rain here, the clubs did not get in batting practice outside as they normally do. About 5 o'clock, the rain came down, just a shower though that passed by, and the field's in great shape.
That was a slider, the first of the game by Reed. 2-2 to Lou Collier. Jason Schmidt, the pitcher, is on deck. Should Collier get aboard? Just inside, the first full count of the game. So 3 balls, 2 strikes to Lou Collier. Punched foul. So Collier stays alive.
Tells you something about the status of this season. We were talking about the wild card at the top and the chase for it. This is the last game these 2 teams are going to play against one another this year.
Pirates have clinched winning the season series against the Mets for the first time since 1994 in the strike abbreviated season. Collier is jammed, little looper the other way, and Olerud makes the play as the Bucks go in order here in the second. Mets coming up in the bottom of the second. Todd Hundley after this from Chrysler. Well, that adds up. Number 35 is number 1. Rick Reed has given up 2 hits, but no runs over 1.5. And as is usually the occasion, the banner's out for Todd Hundley's return, his first game last Saturday night.
It's amazing how some players just have that kind of effects on fans. I mean, it's that aura thing. And here in New York, Todd Hundley's got that. I mean, fans just love Todd Hundley, and I think it's an extension of just who he is. It's that come to the ballpark, get dirty, play hard every day, care kind of guy.
Takes a changeup on the outside corner from Jason Schmidt. And Mookie Wilson, the same sort of charismatic style with the Shea faithful. Fastball fouled away down the left field line. 0-2 to Todd Hundley.
There is no mercy shown. Todd Hundley, of course, has had a couple of plays in left field he'd just as soon not have had happen against him. The guys on the team, his own teammates, of course, all over him, inviting him to come out and take fly balls before the game anytime. They'd be happy to hit him to him, and asking him tonight when he was going to take this seriously. And
breaking ball is outside. 2-2 to Hundley. Clubhouse is the wrong place for sympathy. Either the visiting clubhouse or the home clubhouse. Change got him. Good changeup from Jason Schmidt. 1 out as he strikes out Hundley. That'll bring up Butch Husky. You know, folks, we mentioned that Bill Pulsipher and Hideo Nomo went to Milwaukee earlier. And it reminds me of that conversation, Gary, that you and I had with Phil Garner. And this is gives you an idea of what a small market club really is in the National League. Butch Husky has had a hot homestand, and he takes a strike. The Milwaukee Brewers do not send their pitchers ahead anymore because it will cost the club $25,000 extra a year. And here the Mets sending 2 ahead to pitch the doubleheader. And Milwaukee, they're playing in Florida tonight. They'll show up, obviously, for the doubleheader, and you can bet that their starting pitchers, as Hundley goes after it, starters Brad Woodall and Bronswell Patrick, will not be going ahead. They'll arrive with the Brewers at about 5 in the morning. I said Hundley, that's Husky. 1-2 to Butch. 2-2.
$25,000 a year.
Yep.
I mean, that's the kind of money that's spent on booze for the owners at parties by most clubs on any given night at the ballpark. I mean, $25,000, but that's exactly what it is. Small market.
Yep.
That's how tough the nickels are.
Used to be commonplace in baseball to send your starters ahead, particularly when you had a doubleheader. As the Mets will arrive, even though they gain an hour in Milwaukee, they'll arrive about 3 o'clock at the hotel, probably around somewhere between 3 and 4, depending, of course, on the length of the game. Ground ball towards short. Lou Collier throws out Husky. 2 outs here in the second. Carlos Baerga coming up.
Batting 6, number 8, second baseman Carlos Baerga.
A lot of famous stories about pitchers going to towns early. One of my favorites is Bob Buell, pitcher for the Milwaukee Braves, once was sent ahead from Houston to San Francisco. The team left the next day, and they were in the lobby, and Buell shows it up in the lobby with his bags as Baerga takes strike 1. 0-1 to Carlos. Bob Buell decided to stop off in Vegas. He was the starting pitcher at Candlestick that night. Fred Haney was the manager at that time as Baerga fouls it away. And Fred said, Bob, you're still pitching tonight, but you better win. If you don't, you're going to be fine. If you do, No fine. He pitched a 4-hitter that night. That story told to me by Lou Burdett when Lou was traded to the Cardinals back in '63. Nothing in 2 to Baerga.
A great story. Sent early, arrived late.
Breaking ball grounded towards second. Tony Womack throws out his counterpart. No score after 2. Back after this from Lexus. Rick Reed, 2 scoreless innings against the Bucks. He has never beaten Pittsburgh. He has started against Pittsburgh 4 times in his career. 0-1 with 3 no decisions. And his first major league appearance, Mets fans of a long time may remember, was back in 1989 on August the 4th. He was pitching for Pittsburgh against the Mets, pitched 8 scoreless innings, and beat the Mets for his first major league win. Pitcher Jason Schmidt will lead it off for Pittsburgh here in the 3rd inning. Punched foul, 0-1 to Schmidt.
Jason Kendall, the fine young catcher of the Pittsburgh Pirates, out serving the suspension that started today, a 3-game suspension. Going to be coming by and joining us later on, so looking forward to having him come in and join us and say hi.
Line drive, center field. Brian McRae, true to his word, telling Gary Thorne that he likes to play shallow in the pregame interview. And the reason was, when a pitcher makes a good pitch, he doesn't like to see balls drop in front of him.
And interesting that he said the pitchers told him the same thing. They would much rather see him make these kinds of catches on what otherwise would be bloop singles than to have that ball caught that maybe ends up going 400 feet. They just figure there'd be more of those bloops than there are of those massive drives.
1 out. Tony Womack single his first time up, and he takes ball 1 high. Mets getting out of first inning trouble. Womack and Osick singled. They were sacrificed to second and third by Turner Ward. Then Kevin Young was called out on strikes, and Jose Guillen, the right fielder, tapped back to Reed. That sacrifice coming on a 2-0 count, and Gary and I both surprised by the sacrifice of Turner Ward. 1-1 to Womack.
Your ball club, as the Pirates are, 15th in runs and 16th in home runs and very few extra base hits. It's hard to believe that you get a couple guys on and your number 3 hitter who's been hot up there and you lay down a bunt. I mean, I just
later in the game that would, obviously it's fine. But as we said, if Ward doesn't get on, then you've got, now obviously, you know, that's provided he doesn't hit into a double play, but it seems to me to be pessimistic offense. I'm thinking your number 3 hitter can't put a ball in play on his terms with a 2-0 count. Womack again singles to right field. Then you've got the right-handed hitter coming up, and then Womack's got a chance to steal third. There's so many ways you can go other than the sacrifice, but it certainly backfired on Pittsburgh.
We talked about how successful Rick Reed has been. Just look at those numbers. 96 through this year. Major league leaders in that time period, of course, Maddox, Brown, Martinez, and then Reed and Tommy Glavine, a select few starters. Reed's included in.
Ball 1 to Osick, who is 1 for 1. By the way, you mentioned Greg Maddux, and Gary, you had a heck of a thought to try to keep in mind this game going on in Atlanta tonight. It's Greg Maddux against the young 20-year-old Kerry Wood, and it's Wood over Maddux, 1-0 in the bottom of the 3rd. Got to keep an eye on that game throughout.
Maddux has never lost to his old team, the Chicago Cubs. He is 7-0 lifetime against them, and we are going to see Kerry Wood in our broadcast from Chicago on Sunday.
That's right.
The probable should be Rookie of the Year in the National League.
Masato Yoshi or I beg your pardon, Rick Reed. And what a play by Alfonso, picking it and throwing him out. A double play nicely turned. So Rick Reed, who will be that starter on Sunday against Kerry Wood, gets his team with a double play to get out of the third. No score. Back after this from your Lincoln Mercury dealers. Nicely turned double play by the Mets to get Rick Reed out of trouble with Womack at first. A little odd that Tony Womack has not tried to steal this evening. Take another look at it.
New York Mets third in fielding percentage in the National League, and Gardo Alfonso, once he makes the pick, it's an easy two because that ball was hit so hard, and Osic's not a fast runner anyway, but Alfonso, fine play going towards the hole to cut it off.
Speaking of hitting balls hard, it was Ken Griffey tonight who homered for the 40th time this year. The Mariners beating the Devil Rays 5-1, top of the fourth. Ken Griffey Jr. with his 40th home run. 3 behind the major league leading Mark McGwire, who has 43. And Todd Pratt takes outside ball 1 to lead off the third.
The Mets will be seeing Sammy Sosa, of course, the second leading home run hitter in the National League with 36 during that stand at Wrigley.
1-1 to Todd Pratt. Mets play 3 in Milwaukee in 2 days, 4 in Chicago in 3 days. 7 games over a 5-day period. Just outside, 2-1.
Sorry, Timmy. This is where those games in hand the Mets have had for 2 months will start falling away, and that's why they're so important, but very tough when you're playing double headers to win 2 ball games. I mean, that's just the nature of the beast.
This one hit hard, right field line, and fair ball. A ground rule double for Todd Pratt. So Pratt leads off the third with a ground rule double to right, and that'll bring up Ray Ordonez.
Pratt has played in only 18 games and has only 35 at-bats. But as was true last year, when given the opportunity, he takes advantage of it. And off Jason Schmidt takes this pitch the other way. Wanted the pitch outside. It was outside and up. That allowed him to drive it. He's got great strength, and once it bounces up and hits over that wall, ground rule double.
Pirates are looking for a bunt. Kevin Young, the first baseman, is drawn in even with the bag for Ray Ordonez. And he's pushed near first, and Womack can't make the play. Ordonez with a bunt base hit as Pratt moves to third.
And Womack may have hurt his back. He slipped on the grass, and that's one of those where you can really hurt your lower back. Watch how he takes this down to the first base side, and Jason Schmidt really looking for the ball to be bunted the other way. Kind of stayed even and leaning a little bit to third, and once he puts it towards first, Schmidt's not going to be able to handle it. Then watch Womack, a nasty fall as he slips right there and twisted that, wrenched that back of his.
That was a nasty spill for Womack. Tony appears to be all right. Here's Rick Reed. Ground ball, second base, through the legs of Womack. Ordonez will go to third. Reed at first on an error by Tony Womack, the second baseman. I'm sure Womack wanted to catch the ball and tag the runner, and in an effort he just missed the ball. 1-0 Mets.
Got caught up trying to do what he wanted to do before he had the ball, because he knew if he didn't get it in a hurry, Ordonez was going to be by him, and then he wouldn't have a chance to get him at all. Plus, Ordonez runs right in front of him, and he may have even lost sight of that ball. When Ordonez went by, it looked like he lost sight of it because he did not have his glove in a position to field it right there. And then he's got, what was he doing with his right hand?
I think what he was doing was making a pivot, perhaps to throw the ball to second base to try to get the lead runner or the middle runner. and Ordonez. First and third, nobody out. Nobody out. And Brian McRae takes ball one. 1-0 to McRae. I think you're right. I think Ordonez running in front of Womack could have obscured his view.
He certainly wasn't in any position to field the ball
No.
when it got to him.
Changeup is a low strike. 1-1 to Brian McRae, who lined the center his first time up.
It's 12 errors on Womack now at second base. Pirates third from the bottom in the National League in fielding percentage. Their defense has not helped a very good pitching staff.
High, ball two, 2-1. Still nobody out. A double by Pratt, a bunt base hit by Ordonez, and Rick Reed squirted one under the glove of Tony Womack. McRae pops it up, shallow center. Back is Collier. He's run off by Ward. A fake by Ordonez at third base. But Brian McRae down on the shallow pop-up, and that'll bring up Edgardo Alfonso.
Good play by Collier to get off that ball, because when Ray Ordonez saw that Collier might try and make the catch, the shortstop, he tagged up. Said if he catches it, I'm probably going to go. Not if Ward catches it, because Ward is coming the right way to make a play at the plate. Collier, on the other hand, would have been going backwards and would have given Ordonez at least an opportunity. Think about tagging up and trying it.
So McRae flying to shallow center field, one out, and Alfonso the batter. He walked his first time up and was erased on a double play ball by John Olerud. 1-0 New York here in the third. Ball one. Other than John Olerud, you will see Alfonso with the best base on ball to strikeout ratio of any of the Mets hitters. Olerud, of course, about 2-to-1 walks to strikeouts. Alfonso about 1-to-1. And then the Mets as a team, not a team that walks a lot. Ball two to Alfonso.
See where Jason Schmidt is working from on the mound. Typical of pitchers who've come up in the Atlanta organization, as Schmidt did. They've moved him way over to the third base side of the pitching slab. Leo Mazzoni's a big proponent of the fact if you've got a pitcher who's having control problems, particularly with a fastball and a slider, right-handed pitcher, move him over to the third base side and give him a bigger angle with the ball coming in towards the plate. And that's what they've done with him. He used to miss a lot with the fastball and the slider away on right-handed hitters. Moved him over, get him to throw that at more of an angle to right-handed batters, and it tends to give him a better chance to get a strike.
There is a strike. 2-1 to Alfonso. Two balls, one strike. Reed on at first. Ordonez on at third. Mets already with one run in, looking for more. There goes Reed. Ground ball, base hit down the third base line. Reed's going to try to score. The throw by Martin. Now Collier safe at home. 3-0 New York.
Batting .310 with runners in scoring position. Edgardo Alfonzo, always toughest when guys are on, puts that one over the bag, then into foul territory. Al Martin had to chase it down up against the wall. Ray Ordonez scoring easily. Cookie Rojas watching that ball, the third base coach, then waving Rick Reed around as Martin had to give chase, and they did not have a play at the plate on Rick Reed. There's Cookie waving him home.
And John Olerud takes strike one from Schmidt. RBIs number 41 and 42 for Alfonzo, and his 15th double of the year. Reed running on the play, and another example of how Reed helps himself. Feels his position well. He's a good hitter. He's a good bunter, and he runs the bases well. 3-0 New York with a 3 spot here in the 3rd inning. Ball 1-1 to Olerud.
Left-handers do a big number off Schmidt, hitting almost 300 against him this year because he really doesn't have a good out pitch against left-handers. Ball that goes the other way, tails away from them.
That's what he tries to do, ride the ball up and in, and then he will throw the changeup. Good fastball on the inside part there. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Olerud. Elmer Dessens warming for Pittsburgh. Hit hard off the glove of Collier. What happened to Womack may have happened to Collier. The Mets have obscured the views of the middle infielders perfectly in this inning.
Changed their entire political outlook. Womack had Ray Ordonez going by him. Missed a ball. Error charge to him that went into right field. Rick Reed allowed to reach on that play. On this one, John Olerud hit the ball fairly hard. And at second base, Edgardo Alfonzo had already gone over before he started back to the bag, and when he went headed to third right here, when he took off, he kind of blocked him, and you see Collier just had no idea where the ball was as he was backing up and kind of moving his glove and arm around trying to figure out where is it. It'll be a base hit.
Base hit number 4. Jason Schmidt facing the minimum number of Mets in the first 2 innings.
Hey, right there's Womack and the one he missed. So this inning, both those plays occurring.
Ordonez the runner there, and there's that changeup we were talking about to Todd Hundley. Todd striking out his first time up, 0-1 to Hundley. Another changeup is low, 1-1. Go ahead, Gary.
Bear in mind, this is only Todd's 10th game. I mean, you have to view Todd's progress here as though this were the start of the season. That's right where he is, game number 10. Even though he had some rehab, he's still coming back.
This one hit deep to left center field. Could be trouble as Martin back near the track. Short hops the fence. Hundley into second base with his first extra base hit of 98, and the Mets lead it 4-0.
Six hits, 24 at-bats, and this is 10th game back. And as Timmy said, his first extra base hit as he drives that pitch by Schmidt. He thought that was gone. You could see him looking at the plate. Out of the reach of Martin, off the wall. Alfonzo home.
Infield in now for Pittsburgh, and Husky the batter. Slider, check swing, strike 1. RBI number 4 for Todd. And the Mets have 4 in on 5 hits. And one error by Pittsburgh, very costly error at that. Strike on the inside corner. 0-2 now to Husky. Tell you, Schmidt with that arm going back and forth, that is close to a balk. That is a very dangerous setup for Jason Schmidt. Holds the ball in the glove, and that arm going back and forth. If it comes across toward the glove and then back, it could be construed as a balk by Bob Davidson, the home plate umpire, who calls a lot of them. 2-2 to Husky.
Very unusual motion. I mean, I've never seen a pitcher do this like this. Put the ball in the glove, keep moving the hand. As Timmy says, if he comes close the glove right here before he starts that windup, it's timeout at the plate now.
Just like a clock that keeps on ticking. Slider, nice play by Osick. Full count to Butch Husky. With Baerga on deck, it's doubtful Husky will get a strike here. We'll see. So Olerud at third base. Todd Hundley, the runner, at second. Elmer Dessens continues to throw for the Buccos. Fastball on the inside corner. Husky did not agree with Davidson, but Butch strikes out, and that'll bring up Baerga.
Couple of tough pitches on that one. The second pitch was called a strike that looked like it might have been high and inside, and then that one, you see Davidson looking over towards the dugout. You can be sure he's taking a little what for from somebody else on that at bat by Husky. Also worth noting, Timmy, Schmidt has thrown 6 wild pitches this year. He buries a lot of sliders and fastballs in the dirt.
And there goes Husky. Or somebody. Now Bobby Valentine coming out. Husky is livid. Bobby Valentine trying to get in front. And that's a job in itself. Trying to get in front of Butch Husky. And now Cookie Rojas.
Remembering, of course, the bumping incident in Atlanta that cost the Mets a suspension.
John Franco suspended for 3 games.
Well, Valentine doesn't want him to get close enough to be bumping. Valentine will go back and talk to Davidson as soon as he can get him out of there.
You could read Butch's lips. He was saying, I didn't say a word to you. And now Mookie Wilson trying to hold him up.
Bobby wants to be thrown out right now.
Well, he's certainly protecting his player with this argument. There's no question about that. Well, one thing to keep in mind with Todd Hundley playing left field, the Mets could be short of outfielders. We're in a situation with the big lead. They could replace Hundley, for instance, after his next at bat. Baerga, the batter, and the changeup outside, ball 1. But with Husky gone, and the Met ejection so far this year, that is not a lot of ejections. Changeup has popped up. Osick back in foul territory, makes the play. The Mets bat around and score 4 times, and after 3, 4-0 New York as Butch Husky retreats. We'll be back after this from Honda. Lenny Harris comes in the game in place of Butch Husky. Harris will be the right fielder. And as my partner comes in for the play-by-play, those pitches were very close, Gare.
Closer than I thought, Timmy. This is the second pitch in that at-bat that was a called strike that Husky didn't like. And then the last pitch that Schmidt struck him out on, maybe a little more inside, but still, that's a pretty good pitch.
Yep. Yep, close.
And listen to this. And he's not talking about climbing Mount Katahdin. Hey, Butch, take a hike. Bob Davidson. So Husky thrown out of the game, and the Mets on top 4-0 as we go to the 4th inning. Reed has walked none, struck out 2. Turner Ward up, sacrificed his first time up. Hot hitter. 11 for his last 30. And a good hitter against Rick Reed, 3 for 4.
Gary, I think the interesting thing about that ejection is that Bob Davidson, the home plate umpire, was going on sound only. He was not looking in the dugout. Whatever unsavory thing that Butch said, Bob Davidson knew who it was.
He didn't have any trouble hollering out his name, did he?
No, he sure didn't.
1-1 count on Turner Ward, the number 3 hitter. Young and Guillen will follow. And that one, a towering fly ball to right, of course. Harris moves over. Get in a game, it'll find you. 1 down.
That little white rat has radar on it, doesn't it?
Amazing. Not going to give you a chance to rest. Today's game brought to you by Budweiser Brewery. Fresh Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. One down, nobody on. Pirates, no runs, 3 hits and an error. Mets, 4 runs on 5 hits. And a strike taken by Kevin Young. Went down swinging his first time up. He is 6 for 26. Lifetime against, or this season rather, against the Mets. And that's the pitch that he can't hit. Inside on his hands, and he has a very weak swing. 0-2 the count. And the breaking ball right back to Reed. He'll make the play to John Olerud. And Reed rocking along. We're going to keep an eye on that Chicago Cub-Atlanta game because Kerry Wood, the great rookie, is pitching for Chicago against Greg Maddux. He has 3 strikeouts, Wood does, so far in that game. So does Maddux, but Chicago's got the 3 runs. They are up 3-0 in that game. Kerry Wood will have that game Sunday from Chicago. He'll be pitching against the Mets on Sunday afternoon. 2 down. Jose Guillen up. He grounded out his first time up.
And as far as I can remember, it'll be the first time that the New York fans will have a chance to see this young phenom. I do not believe he has pitched an ESPN game that I remember.
I don't think so.
20 strikeouts in his 5th major league starts with no walks.
And he's the real thing. And humble.
Yeah.
How about that for a couple? Guillen, 1-1 count, 2 down. 1 for 9 lifetime against Reed. After lining out the first, he was robbed by a hit of John Olerud. Just for the heck of it today, when I was looking, I was reading a story promoting Wood for Rookie of the Year. I went back to see how many Cubs had been named Rookie of the Year. There have only been 3.
I was going to say not many
in Chicago history. 2 of them you're familiar with, of course. Billy Williams in '61, Jerome Walton in '89. But
Kenny Hobbs
in '62.
Yep. Died in a plane crash.
Yeah. A second baseman died in a plane crash after his rookie year, after he won the Rookie of the Year award. 2-2 to Guillen is foul back. I did not recognize the name.
He was a player that reminded you a lot of Ryne Sandberg. Broke in about the same time I was breaking into the big leagues. First full year the next year, but Kenny Hobbs was a terrific player.
Off the fists and a base hit into left field for Guillen.
Sometimes you do everything right. You do exactly what you want to do. As you saw Todd Pratt saying up in the zone, up in the zone, up in the zone, and that's exactly where Reed threw the pitch. And you could almost see Pratt after the base hit. Watch Pratt say, get it up, right where he wanted it. And you could see that exasperation on Todd Pratt's face after Guillen fisted one over third.
So Al Martin now with 2 down will try and keep the inning alive with a runner at first base. And he takes the pitch inside. Rick Reed has given up just 4 hits. Only 2 have been left on. That was in the first inning when Womack and Osick started the game with singles and were stranded. And that one will be fouled outside of first. Keeping an eye on other games, there's a doubleheader today being played in Cleveland. Boston won the afternoon game. That's the night game. And Pat Borders is having to catch both games for Cleveland in a day-night doubleheader because Sandy Alomar's got a quad pull.
Wow.
But he's not on the DL. 1-1. And it was, what, 10-7, I believe, the Red Sox in the first game of the doubleheader. So a long game.
I'm thinking who would be the third catcher if Borders goes down. Because they only carry 2 catchers.
Right.
It would have to be a utility man.
I'm not sure who that is either.
I don't, offhand, I don't know.
Well, Borders is going to catch both ends of that, and they're in a rain delay in that game now. Hit in the air to center field. McRae backing up on the drive. He'll get there. And Martin is retired. No runs, a base hit, and 1 left on. Rick Reed getting the job done in protecting a Met lead. And I want to thank my mother and father.
That was me that put that up there.
And Timmy. Now this from Omnipoint. New York Mets leading this one 4-0 against the Pirates here at Shea Stadium. Tonight's game being brought to you by Nobody Beats the Wiz, your total home entertainment center, and by your local Greater New York Toyota dealer. Toyota every day. Gary Thor, Tim McCarver, and our crew here at Shea, delighted to have you with us on this summer night here in New York. Mets trying to wrap up this homestand with a victory. They are 4-7 on this 12-game homestand so far. And Rick Reed pitching well, and the Mets getting 4 runs and 5 hits in the last inning. Had it kicked off with a double by Todd Pratt. Pratt will lead it off here. Ordonez and then Reed to follow. Jason Schmidt has given up the 4 runs on 5 hits, walked 1 and struck out 2. Pratt rips it again into left field. He's 2 for 2. Martin will get it in, and Todd Pratt leading it off here in the 4th inning with a single. Well, he's got a single and a double in this game. Pratt on for Ray Ordonez. With the pitcher due up next, so Pratt will take a long look over Cookie Rojas. There's Cookie. Take a look at our Nobody Beats the Wiz out of town scoreboard. Brewers the next opponent for the Mets. Ordonez hitting at .247. And the breaking ball outside ball 1. There's that Cubs Brave game. Woods and Maddox. Rockies on the road leading the Astros, and the games to be played later tonight. McGuire had one last night. Reds and Dodgers. Giants. What an amazing thing there is to take a look at our Toyota American League scoreboard. First game of a doubleheader right there, and there's the second one. Popped up. First base, Young. Ordonez is retired. Pratt will stay at first. Saying an amazing thing in that National League West, it was like a snap of your fingers, and all of a sudden San Diego was up by 10. I mean, the Giants were on top there for a while, and staying within 3 or 4 games, but they've won only 2 of their last 10. The Giants have. And San Diego's jumped out to a 10-game lead in the National League West.
Matter of fact, the Chicago Cubs are half a game up in the wild card running. Giants are a half game back. Mets are 4. Phillies are 3.
Rick Reed reached on an error his first time up, takes a strike on the outside corner from Schmidt. Terry Francona will be getting some votes for manager of the year. Not often done by a ball club like the Phillies. That'll be around that 500 mark probably, although who knows, it could be 10 games over the way they're playing right now. Reed 0-1 looking for the bunt, charging in. Reed lays it down, backhanded by Young, and off the bag, the tag put on, and out is Todd Pratt. Had to put the tag on because the throw brought Collier off the bag.
I think Todd Pratt sliding to take Collier out of the double play. On a bunt, you don't have to do that. Just make your slide into the bag. You can see Pratt with the late slide, slides off the bag. All you do is slide right into the bag, and that'll pop you up. But the late slide intended to take him out on a bunt play. You don't have to take him out.
2 down. Brian McRae up. Grounded to first base. Young is there. He'll take it back to the bag. And that will do it. Schmidt out of the inning. No runs, a base hit, and 1 left on. The Mets on top by a score of 4-0. Mets on top 4-0 as the Pirates come up in the 5th inning with the bottom third of the order. Often talked about first basemen being left-handed fielders rather than right. Here's one reason why. Look how hard this throw is for a right-handed fielding first baseman. It forces your body's in the wrong position. It's a bad throwing angle when you're charging from first base.
Too many steps, too. You take all those steps, and usually you get under a throw like that, and that's what happened to Kevin Young. He got under it. The throw to Collier was high, and Pratt slid past the bag.
Now, John Olerud, being a left-handed fielder, if he's coming in to make that same play,
right,
he's in a position to throw naturally without having to take steps or cross his body or anything to make that play to second base.
It's a play designed for a thrower to throw the ball to the middle of the infield. Similarly, the third baseman has a similar type throw. That's why it's a left-hander's position and not a right-hander's.
Aramis Ramirez, strike taken. Ramirez lined out his first time up. It'll be Ramirez, Collier, and then Schmidt due up. Fouls that one back up overhead. As Timmy said, he's now 20 years old, batting at .231 on the season. He was ejected in a bench clearing brawl on Friday, and things really got heated. 0-2 count. And a strike on the outside corner. So Ramirez out of there. Reed pinpoint control. 3 strikeouts.
Luke Collier.
And of course, no walks.
I think the biggest difference in pitching in AAA and the major leagues, the biggest, is fastballs that slice corners. Guys like Maddox, Rick Reed, Al Leiter with the consistent heavy fastball inside. You don't face those guys in the minor leagues. They may throw as hard, but they don't have the control. They don't hit the corners like they do up there or like that.
That's exactly what Todd Hundley said when he came back from his rehab.
Oh, yeah?
Saying that it's like, yeah, you get your swing down, you get some timing. He said, but there's no way you get ready for Major League Baseball except play it here. Luke Collier takes a pitch away. 1 ball, 2 strikes. It's that fine tuning. It's that lack of fat pitches. In the minors, you get more of those mistake pitches that are balls better to hit. Collier popped out his first time up. The number 8 hitter slices that one foul. Remains a ball and 2 strikes on Collier. Lou Collier. He is hitting just .229 in his last 15 games. For Lou Collier, his average has dipped. Pirates offense last month has not been good. Fouled on the breaking ball. Remains a ball and 2 strikes. One-two on Collier. Right now, a rather quiet, still evening, and remaining hot and fairly humid. Reed waiting as Collier gets back into the box. Pirates have won their last 4. As Timmy said, the last 5 against New York. Ooh, right on him. Collier will go.
Collier hit on the shoulder, and Gary, you mentioned
Pitcher
Aramis
Schmidt.
Ramirez last Friday. He was hit on about the same spot by Javier Vasquez of the Montreal Expos, and we will take a look at it. This is last Friday night. Vasquez against Aramis Ramirez, and Ramirez wasted no time, threw the helmet down.